Okay, today we are going to continue with fundamentals of catering. This is part 3, business considerations. Capital is the startup money you have or need to open a restaurant. When you can open a restaurant by yourself with a partner as a chain or as a franchise, but no matter how you do it, you must have capital. You can't walk into a bank and hope that they will loan you 100% of the money, because they won't. You have to have some cash in the game. You need to be invested in this restaurant as well as the bank. You may get a business loan for the difference between what you have saved and what you need. There are many financial legal requirements that must be met before they will grant you a loan, and some of those include the following. This is not a complete list. A business plan, permits and licenses already lined up, the estimated cost of each part of the project. This is your equipment, your startup grocery orders, your tables and chairs, if your restaurant has countertop, all of that has to be in there. Building must be approved by the bank and the local authorities. They need to make sure the building is safe and zoned appropriately, and they will check your credit to make sure that you are a good risk for this. There are 3 different ways to own a business. You can be a sole ownership, also called a sole proprietorship. This is when the business is owned by one person. You're the only one, and 75% of the U.S. businesses are sole proprietorships. You may also be a partnership, where the business is owned by 2 or more people. The control and the profits are divided among your partners according to a legal agreement. In some restaurants, there's a silent partner. So I might put up, let's say, half the money, but I don't want to do any of the work. So you might get 75% of the profit, and I only get 25% because you're doing all the work. All right? So all of that is decided between the partners and drawn up in a legal agreement. That legal agreement is required before you can get the loan. A corporation is created when a state grants an individual or a group of people a charter with legal rights, and then the owners buy shares, which are part of the company. So you can buy shares of McDonald's, of Burger King, all of that, because those are corporate run chains. Now, there are advantages and disadvantages to each. With a sole proprietorship, the advantage is you make all the decisions. There's nobody to fight with. You get to do everything the way you want. It's the easiest setup. It's the least regulated. However, the disadvantages are your strong suits are an advantage, but any disadvantages you have, there's nobody else to fall back on and lean that to pick that up. So in my case, I'm super organized, but maybe I'm not as creative as some people. So I would want a partner whose strength was in the creativity area, so we would balance each other. It's very hard to raise money when you're by yourself, and if the restaurant fails, it's me that fails. It attacks my personal assets, and I will have to, pay what needs to be paid in order to get out of that. A partnership, the benefits are you have the skills and abilities of more than one person. So again, I'm organized, they're creative. It's easier to raise funds when you have more than one person raising funds. It's more complicated. There can be tension and conflict between the owners. And again, there can be more than 2 owners. The partnership could be 4 people. It just has to be more than 2. I'm sorry, more than 1, 2 or more. And the owners collectively are liable for all the losses, so all of their personal assets are at risk. A corporation is the easiest to finance. It's the financial liability of the shareholders is limited. So if you own stock in a company and the company goes broke, the amount that you're responsible for is very small. It's very expensive to set up. You require lots of lawyers, accounting. The record keeping is very time consuming and costly, and corporations pay more in taxes. Now, zoning, we mentioned that you have to have licensing done. You will need to check the zoning requirements. Zoning divides land into sections with different purposes, and this is how they organize cities. So if you look at just Franklin Park, North Lake, where we live, or where you go to school, the businesses are located in one area and the houses are in another. You don't find a Burger King or a McDonald's in the middle of your neighborhood, because your neighborhood is zoned residential, and where you find McDonald's and Burger King, they're zoned commercial, and you can't mix them. You can only build a factory on land that's zoned for manufacturing, and they do that to keep the city organized. Those licenses are issued to open a building or a business. You will need a license with proof of insurance. You have to insure your building. The restaurant license will require your food handler's license, which you guys can earn when this next summer coming up at some of the teachers here at Leiden teach that for you, and you can get it free through It's not through Triton, but that's usually held at Triton. And a restaurant that serves alcohol will also require an additional license for the sale of alcohol. And there's different kinds of licenses for this as well. So we're not going to get into that, but just a basic alcohol license does not allow you to, sell alcohol to carry out of the restaurant, nor does it allow you to sell mixed drinks. So there's different levels of alcohol licensing as well. Accurate financial records are crucial to run any business. You have to keep track of all your income. You have to keep track of all your spending. And that will, with those two things, you'll develop profit loss reports, and you will develop a P&L report every month. How did we do in January? Maybe January is going to be a slow month for you, or June is going to be a great month. You won't know that till after you've gone through a full year. A fiscal report is a report of 12 months report of income and spending from the opening of a business plus 12 months. So it's your year. So if you opened your restaurant on May 8th, your fiscal year runs from May 8th to May 7th of the next year. It's your year for your restaurant. However, Uncle Sam doesn't see it that way. Uncle Sam computes taxes on a calendar year. So when you do your taxes, you will have to file a calendar year report, and that'll be a 12-month report from January 1st to December 31st. So in the case where you open your business May 8th, you have zero income for January, February, March, April. So you're adding in 4 zeros. All right, and then the following year you would have 12 months. Small businesses may hire a single accountant, where a large business will have an entire accounting department. Corporations have floors and floors of accountants. So how much money do you think these major food chains manage in a year? You're going to pick one of the chains below and look up the following information. Now, no duplicates per table. So everybody at your table should pick a different business, and you're going to look at their annual income, their annual spending, and last year's profit. And all of this is on the internet. You're going to enter it into a spreadsheet that your teacher has shared with you and be prepared to discuss it in class. Thank you.